Hello everyone and welcome to this new lecture where I'm going to cover what are the essentials or what you must know in order to become a professional web developer. So a lot of people ask me what do I need to know to become a really professional web developer so I can be hired by a company as a web developer. And basically I have this map where you can control the essentials for you to learn in order to become a professional web developer. Some of the subjects are covered in my course, Become a Web Developer from Scratch, and some other subjects will be covered on my future course to be released on Udemy in April, Become a Web Developer from Scratch 2. So to start in web development, you must know the basics, which are HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. In order to create a website from scratch or a simple static website, you'll need to learn these three subjects, okay? And as you can see, after HTML, you have a parenthesis where I type Become Web Developer from Scratch 1. This is the current course you are taking, and this means that HTML is covered in this course, as well as CSS and JavaScript, okay? So anytime you see the Become Web Developer from Scratch 1 between the parentheses, it means that is covered in this course. You might also see the Become Web Developer from Scratch 2. That means that subject will be covered in the future course to be released in April, okay? So as you can check here, you have the basics, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript that you should learn first, okay? You also have here the must-known several subjects that are also covered on my courses, or it will be covered on my second course. So web services, APIs, RESTful web services, these are subjects that you will learn on my second course, and you should learn this in order to become a professional web developer or work for a company. They will ask you for this, as well as work with FTP, SSH, basic terminal usage, and GitHub, okay? GitHub and FTP will be covered in this course. The rest of them will be covered on my second course. Now, I will also teach you how the client front end works, how the back end connects to the server, and how databases work. And these three subjects will give you an overall understanding of how the internet works, okay, and how the browser works and connects with the server. So after you learn the basics, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, you may opt for becoming a front-end developer or a back-end developer. Now, in this course, I'm going to cover the best of both worlds. So you can choose later on what you want to do, or you can do both. Now, in the front-end developer world, basically what you will do is understand and use tools that creates the visual effects on the website, okay? So whenever you click and some action happens with JavaScript, that's what the front end basically, the front end developer controls, and how browsers will support that action or feature. So you need to have a pretty good knowledge of how browsers work and the compatibility of browsers with the programming language you are using. That basically, and overall, JavaScript is the main programming language used since all the browsers support JavaScript. So if you are if you have a good knowledge of JavaScript, you're gonna get pretty easy into this world front-end development, since all the tools and frameworks that a front-end developer needs are based on JavaScript. So as you can see here, you have JavaScript frameworks. There are several ones nowadays that you can use, but the most popular one, it's Angular.js. Backbone is also very good, but I'm going to cover Angular.js on my second course, on my upcoming second course. Then you have unit testing, and I'm not sure if I'm going to cover this. Basically, unit testing, it teaches you how to create tests for these frameworks, okay? And this is not mandatory to become a professional web developer, but if you know how to use and how to create tests for the frameworks, it's going to get you even high level as a web developer. So now we have CSS tools that you can also learn how to use. So we have Precompiler, Sassless, and Silas. These are basically kind of frameworks that you can use with CSS. So you can write variables in order to control the CSS, or if you have a large quantity of CSS, you can organize them with variables and stuff. Then you have CSS framework like Bootstrap that I'm going to cover on this course. Responsive design with CSS, I'm going to cover it in this course as well. Okay. Now then you have front-end build tools. I'm going to cover Grunt in the second course, and also the require.js in the second course as well. All of these are tools that will help you organize your different JavaScript files when you have a huge amount of JavaScript that your browser requests at the same time. So basically, this will organize the requests of all your connections from the browser to the server. Okay, so I'm going to get into this in the second course, Require.js and Grunt, and maybe a few more. Now, this is about everything you need to know nowadays to become a front-end developer. If you want to go into back-end development, I'm going to cover as the main programming language to connect to a database. I'm going to cover PHP, okay, which is covered in this course. But you have other programming languages that you can learn, like .NET, Python with Django, Node.js, Ruby on Rails, which is a framework, and Java as well. I would recommend learning PHP and maybe Ruby on Rails nowadays. And then I would learn the MySQL database, okay? There are other databases that you can learn, like MongoDB and Redis, but I would recommend MySQL database, and it's covered in this course as well. I would also recommend you to learn caching. I'm going to cover Memcached on my second course. Then you also have to learn security, OAuth 2, and authorization authentication. All of these three subjects will be covered in this course as well. If you want to go a step further in as a backend developer, you have to learn web platforms or DevOps. If you really want to get into creating data centers or big databases, you should learn DevOps. I'm going to try to cover Rackspace on my second course, and maybe Amazon Web Services. I'm also going to cover Linux on my second course, and I'm going to also try to cover different deployment strategies, maybe with Capistrano, okay? All of these are really, really advanced subjects, and it doesn't make sense to talk a lot about them right now. So yeah, basically this is web development, and hopefully if you learn all of these or the majority of these subjects, you'll become on a really good position to be hired by any company in the world, okay? Hope you like this, and see you guys in the next lecture. Bye.